So this is the Alienware Area-51, and it is the biggest, baddest pre-built computer I have ever reviewed. The unit I have here costs a whopping $7,300 here in Australia. That is a lot of money for a gaming PC. But what you get for the money is one of the most powerful gaming machines on the market that can run any game in 4K, well over 60 frames per second at ultra highest settings and ray tracing. I've been living with it for a couple of weeks now, doing all sorts of gaming, video editing, Word documents, productivity, media consumption, all in the hopes of answering the question of, is this new Area-51 worth your time? Now, if you know anything about me and my videos, this is not going to be a spec-heavy, benchmark-heavy review, but I will tell you my experience and just living with this behemoth of a machine and my thoughts on whether Alienware has fixed the upgradability issues that were a big concern with the Alienware Aurora R16 that I reviewed last year, which you guys loved, and you can look at the video linked above. Big thanks to Alienware Australia for letting me borrow this machine for the purpose of making this video. So without further ado, let's get into it and I'll tell you all about it. Okay, as I said before, this is an absurdly big machine. Just look how tall it is. It's about half my height. This thing is about half a meter tall, half a meter deep, maybe half a foot wide, and it weighs 34 kilograms. That's somewhat heavier than my 9-year-old daughter. And I can tell you that getting it out of the box during unboxing it was quite the workout and had me sweating just lifting that behemoth. Everyone who's seen it has asked me, is that a server? Because they've never seen a desktop this big in life. But there is lots of good reason for why this thing is big. This is a full ATX chassis that is 80 liters of space inside, and that gives you two benefits. One, it can take the biggest GPUs on the market right now. Inside of this guy is a RTX 1590, which is one of the biggest GPUs, and you can get up to 420 millimeter AIO coolers up on the top. This also allows for extremely good airflow within the case. The case is designed to have all its 7 fans. It has 7 fans in here that all suck air into the case and blow it out the back of the case. I love the chassis design. I think it is very minimal and sleek. It still says Alienware or gaming PC thanks to the RGB loop on the side, the glowing Alienware logo, the metal grate on the top that kind of reminds me of a Mac Pro. Of course, it wouldn't be a gaming PC without a side glass panel. That, of course, is removable so you can get access to the parts on the inside, and then a metal panel on the other side. The back has a ventilated panel that blows out all the hot air. And on top of that, Alienware has listened to customer feedback, which was that the old Alienware desktops were so full of proprietary parts, proprietary motherboards and components that you just couldn't upgrade them easily. And this time around, Alienware has tried its best to keep things as open as possible, with only the motherboard being proprietary to Alienware, but it is a standard ATX motherboard that supports PCIe Gen 5, and it has 3 M.2 slots for SSDs. It's got support for DDR5 RAM and other accessories. And also, because Alienware has been thinking about upgradability, they have marked every major part of the internals with a QR code, which if you scan will show you how to quickly change parts. So I think it's a really cool, helpful feature. Just scan the code and it will take you to a YouTube video showing you how to change parts. Now, Alienware says this is a toolless entry, but that's not entirely true because there is one screw that Phillips head screw that you need to undo first, which then releases the latch that you can turn, and that will then release the side panels. I think that's a little convoluted. I don't know why they needed the Phillips screw head. They should have just left the latch. I mean, then it would be truly toolless and we'd all be happy. Unfortunately, the one area that is still a bit of a challenge when it comes to upgradability is the motherboard. This is an Alienware proprietary motherboard, and if you want to swap it out for your own motherboard, then you will need a special conversion kit, which I will leave the details in the description below. But I think anyone who's buying this machine is probably not the kind of person who wants to swap out the motherboard. They just want a buy, set and forget. That would probably be people like me. I could build a PC, but I just don't have the time or the interest or the inclination to do that. So pre-builds like this just make sense for me. I just want to pay someone to build it perfectly and give me warranty and serviceability. From what I can tell, the cable management in here is just spot on. Everything looks very clean. I like how it looks. And the RGB, of course, is fantastic. It just all looks really spot on. This is one of the best Alienware designs. It is a far cry from the older Alienware Area-51s, which all had, one had a pyramid sort of design and the other looked like an alien head. I think this looks great for 2025. It's sleek, it's minimal, but it's futuristic, and it still has the gamer flair. Yeah, I like Alienware's new design language. One of the things that I find impressive about this machine is the sheer number of ports. On the front here, you've got two USB-A and two USB-C, as well as a headphone in and a microphone in. But it doesn't stop there. On the back, it's even more ridiculous. You get 5 USB-A ports, as well as 4 more USB Type-C ports, 2 of which are Thunderbolt 4, which is just brilliant to have on here. You also got Ethernet for wired internet and a bunch of audio ports. And of course, because it has a graphics card, you get 3 display ports and 1 HDMI 2.1 port. So this thing can drive, theoretically, 4 monitors at the same time. All right, let's get down to the meat and potatoes that everybody wants to know is, can it run Crysis? And yes, this thing can run Crysis or any other game you can think of at full ray-traced ultra settings in 4K at well over 60 frames per second. Now, for a bit of context, the model I have here is one of the top spec models that Alienware offers. It's rocking an Intel Ultra Core 9 285 processor with 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, a 1 terabyte SSD that is a PCI Gen 5, and of course, it has the biggest, baddest graphics card in the world right now, which is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090. Now, if you know anything about gaming machines and gaming components, you can already see that this thing is a beast. I'll put a couple of numbers up on the screen for you to see how it performs across various benchmarks from 3D Mark, Cinebench, Geekbench, and the results are obviously impressive. I did not even bother trying to do any gaming at anything less than 4K, and every result that you'll see on screen is from games at their highest settings with ray tracing on maximum if possible. I don't think I have to tell you how insane it is to play Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K in ray tracing overdrive at over 250 frames per second. It's honestly too much. The exception, of course, comes to games like Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which for some strange reason I have really taken a liking to after years of just not being interested in multiplayer shooters. That runs well over 200 frames per second as well, 4K extreme settings. I don't need to run the game like that, but I can. And it's been wonderful. Everything is just so smooth, so fluid, so responsive. This thing is designed indeed for the ultimate in gaming. It's just incredible. And if you've got a great monitor like this 4K QD OLED monitor that Dell sent with it, you would be in heaven. I actually wish I could have had this to test with the LG GX9, the 45-inch 5K 2K OLED. That would have been an incredible experience to play with this machine. But of course, if you're like me, working adult, you are not spending your entire day just playing games. It doesn't make any sense for you to buy a machine like this just to play games. You're obviously buying it to do some heavy-duty, serious work. And this thing shines in that department as well. Obviously, you're watching a video that I've made for you. This video is recorded in 4K, high-fidelity codecs. I'm able to edit any video on this machine using DaVinci Resolve, full 4K preview, scrubbing the timeline without any stutters or hiccups. It plays back in real time. NVIDIA has done some excellent work around their codecs and compatibility with video editing programs. But even if you're not doing that, if you're doing graphic design work or 3D animation work, a lot of people are into hosting their own local language models for AI, so they can build AI tools and do all sorts of things This thing has all the TOPS computing power that is required to run local AI instances easily and fast. So this thing is a productivity beast as well. I love working on it, knowing that everything just runs smoothly, no stutters. So I've shown you that this thing can perform. There's no doubt about it. But you might be wondering, how hot does it run as it performs, or how noisy is it? And just like its little sibling, the Aurora R16, the Area-51 runs very silent most of the time. Now, obviously that depends on the performance mode that you have chosen, but right out of the box in the Alienware command center, you have 3 performance profiles. That's quiet, balanced, and performance. The system is set by default to run in quiet, but the minute you turn on any demanding graphical application like a game, it will automatically switch to performance mode. Now, in performance mode, as I've already said, there's up to 7 fans in this machine, depending on your particular configuration. Those fans can get really loud. I was actually disappointed with how loud they get in performance mode. It's uncomfortably loud that even using headphones, I could still hear it. Now, do you have to run it in performance mode all the time? Absolutely not. But if you do run it in performance mode, it keeps the core components extremely cool. I never saw the CPU on here go above 60 degrees centigrade. The graphics card would average between 65 and 70 degrees centigrade, which is pretty good, I'd say. Nowhere near anything to worry about. Over time, I came to realize that I could run the Alienware Area-51 in balanced mode and I'd still get stupidly high frame rates anyway, but I would have much less fan noise. And that's something I think most people should do. There's no need to really run it in performance mode unless you really want the ultimate speed out of this machine. Alienware Command Center also gives you the ability to tweak the fan profiles and change things to the way you want. And here's a quick sound test for you so that you can hear the differences between the quiet, balanced, and performance profiles. Okay, at this point, you're wondering what all of this is going to cost you. Now, this being a Dell product means it comes with multiple configurations, and so pricing will vary depending on your region and the kind of specification that you choose to order. However, here in Australia, the base model starts at about $4,200, and for that, you're getting a Core Ultra 7 processor from Intel. You are getting an RTX 5070, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD. I think that's a fair enough configuration, and for a lot of people, that will give so much performance for most things. However, if you add another $1,000 to $1,500 more, then you can step up to the next configuration, which would have an RTX 5080. That would be more than enough for most people doing productivity, gaming, and media consumption. This model that I have here for review tops out around $7,300. That is a lot of money, and I'm not sure that I would spend that money on a pre-built machine. I'm sure there's a lot of you who are going to watch this video and get into the comments telling me how they can build this for half the price. Bear in mind that there is a couple of benefits to buying a machine like this from a brand like Alienware. First being service and warranty. If you build a machine yourself, you don't get warranty on that build. Anything goes wrong, that's on you. Secondly is economies of scale. If you've been following the news, with the AI wars driving demand for PC components, especially graphics cards, RAM, and SSDs, those are doubling, even tripling in price very quickly. To build something equivalent to this, you might still end up spending that kind of money. Dell offers a 1-year standard warranty on this machine, which includes on-location repair in 1 to 2 business days. I think that gives a great peace of mind, knowing that if anything were to go wrong, Dell would send someone out to you to have a look at the machine, because let's face it, this thing is huge. Shipping it back to Dell would just be astronomically expensive. Now, in saying all that, there is also the Alienware Aurora series, which is half the size of this machine and also comes with many of the same components, and you can get this for roughly half the price of this. So that would still be between $3,000 to $4,500. You'll be able to get a really powerful machine. I personally would go for something like that because I don't need this humongous thing in my space. So if you want a smaller, more discreet machine, go for the Aurora. If you have all the space that you need and you want the best performance possible, then go for the Area-51. Okay, so after several weeks living with this machine, I can say that it is a fantastic piece of engineering. I love what Alienware has done. I love the new design. I love the more easy to upgrade internals. I love the performance, and it just makes me feel really cool to have this thing on my desk. However, it does come at a premium, and there are options that are cheaper, even from Dell itself, where you can get the same kind of performance for your everyday gaming and work at several $1,000s less than this machine. This is for those who absolutely want no compromises, top of the range, best of the best. Get this one. If you are more budget conscious, like, let's be honest, most of us, this will be way out of reach, doesn't make any financial sense. That's not to say that you can't get a good version of this. Dell often has large discounts, especially around Black Fridays or Prime Days or whatever, where you can get several thousands of dollars shaved off these machines, and you don't have to get the RTX 5090 configuration. A 5080 Max is more than plenty for most people on whatever they're doing. And again, this is not the kind of machine that a tinkerer should buy, because if you're the kind of person who wants to buy a machine and know that I can tinker with the parts, swap things in and out over time, if you want to change the motherboard and do all sorts of fancy things, the power supply, yeah, this is not the kind of machine that you want to buy. So yeah, after several weeks living with this thing, I have loved every moment of it. There's just something about being able to crank up any new AAA game that comes out and just go to the settings and put everything on ultra or extreme and not even worry about it. There's a sense of satisfaction, and if you're considering getting this machine, from my experience, it's a wonderful, very well built, sturdy, powerful machine that will get the job done. As to whether it makes financial sense to you, you'll have to do the math. Thanks again for watching. Please leave a like and a subscribe, as it helps me to give you more content. Leave a comment with an alien emoji so that I will know who the real ones are that made it through to the end of this video. I'm going to get back to playing some games on this thing before it goes back to Alienware. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.